Tanner, it's Ross Tucker filling in for Dan today. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Ross. Good to be with you.
I guess I just want to start with how you got into politics. I mean, you're before we get into the Gordon Hayward stuff, obviously your dad's in basketball, your brother's in basketball. How did you enter the political arena or decide to?
It's probably because I'm the worst athlete of my brothers. And so, I didn't have that path to continue. And so I went to the business world. I've been in the business world for the past decade or so, and helping businesses grow and get to the next level. Like, as I followed the direction of the country and the way we're going, sometimes I complain and wish I could make a difference. And for people on a national level not be aware, but Utah,
Tanner, we're going to put you on hold real quick and see if we can get you a better line. Your sounds like your cell reception is going in and out. Tanner, can you hear us a little bit better now? You got a better line?
Yeah. Sorry about that, Ross. Yeah,
no problem.
I'm not sure where you lost me.
Yeah, you were just saying, I just said everybody in your family, it seems like, is in basketball other than you, and I was just curious as to why. How'd you get into politics?
Yeah, well, I started to say that it's probably because I'm the worst athlete of my brothers, and so I had to find a different path. And my path wasn't really politics. It's been in the business world where I've spent the last decade helping to invest in and build companies. But, like many listeners, I see the direction our country's going in, and I don't always want to be on the sidelines. I want to get in and try to make a difference. And, national listeners might not know, but in Utah, in our district, Congressman Chafin stepped down in the middle of his term. And so there's this very short window special election. And so I decided this is my time to get off the sidelines.
What was it like being the worst athlete in the family?
Well, hey, it was still competitive, right? I mean, it wasn't worse by a mile, but so we had a lot of time to have some battles, mainly with Austin, my older brother. The other two are quite a bit younger than me, so I always owned them.
Nice. All right. Well, let's get into your tweet and what's going on. My question is, who's your favorite basketball team?
Well, look, what's nice about the Hayward situation right now is that Austin and my dad can't really talk about free agency at the moment, but I can. And I'm trying to represent the 3rd District of Utah, and so I don't see why he should leave. I mean, Ross, have you been out to Utah?
You know what?
We're known for our...
Tanner, I have been a couple times. Every other year we go skiing in Deer Valley, and it is amazing. I always say,
right?
If I couldn't live in Pennsylvania, my next stop would be Wisconsin, just because of the 4 food groups that those people have: cheese, beers, brats. But then after that, it would be Salt Lake City, man. If anybody listening has never been there, it is unbelievable. And I've heard, Tanner, I've never been there, but I've heard it's even better in the summer.
Exactly. In the summer, we've got the Green Mountains. You can fish, you can hike, you can mountain bike. There's no better place to be. And, on top of that, I highlighted the tax issue. We've got lower taxes than you would have in Massachusetts. And Hayward's actually an aspiring computer engineer. And right now, Utah's economy, we've got a whole new tech corridor that's thriving. It's known as the Silicon Slopes out here. So, look, I just don't know why he'd want to leave.
So, you know what was great about that answer, Tanner, is that you've gotten off to a good start with your political career because you didn't actually answer who your favorite team was. you went into the reasons why Gordon shouldn't leave, but you didn't really say the Jazz are your favorite team and not the Celtics.
Well, my one thing I learned from my dad is, and of course I love him and support him. He's my hero. And, in sports, when you're in it, you know this, you build relationships with people. And so while many of us, across the country, you cheer for where you're from, when you've jumped around to so many teams and you've played with players, you cheer for people just as much. And so, look, I always want my dad and my brother to be successful. More my brother. My dad's already had enough success. I'm cheering for Austin to be successful. But yeah, I'm also, I want Hayward to stay in Utah, and I don't understand why anyone would want to leave our district.
So give me your best pitch. Like, pretend I'm Gordon Hayward, and you get me on the phone, and I'm like, look, Tanner, I mean, the chance to play for the Miami Heat with Pat Riley and Spoelstra, and there's no state income tax down there in Florida, or the Celtics. You know, think about the tradition and the legends of the Celtics. They have an awesome guy at the head of the organization named Danny Ainge, and they got a team that maybe if I go there, we might be able to win the NBA championship or at least compete with the Cavaliers. Why should I stay in Utah?
Because of all the reasons we said. One, you want to live here. You're going to make more money here in Utah. You're already in a great role. You've been thriving. You're going to continue to thrive. You've got Rudy Gobert to play alongside. And, you know, but more importantly, people in Utah want their players to stay. You know, we need to get back to the days where, you know, with Stockton and Malone, when the Jazz were actually competing in the finals. And those guys who did that, the people of Utah will always remember them. They're kind of chiseled on the mountains here. And so Hayward has an opportunity here in Utah to be, he's the number one guy. There's no other professional sports team. We don't have an NFL team. We don't have a Major League Baseball team. And so he's the guy in a market that's thriving. And it's a great place to live for all the reasons we've gone through.
When's the election?
The election is August 15th. And by the way, since you asked that, I've got to get my plug-in. So anyone who's interested, go to www.aingeforcongress.com, and you can donate to support my campaign.
Dude, Tanner, I'm not into people plugging things like the Ross Tucker Football Podcast randomly like that, okay? We don't do things like that here on the DP show. No, that's great. I am curious, though. I mean, how much more reaction have you gotten from your tweet to Gordon Hayward to try to keep him than anything that you're trying to do politically?
There's a lot, right? And there's a lot of people who follow sports, and it's more fun. And but look, the direction of our country is also a serious matter. And at the end of the day, I think that right now people are kind of correlating the two. But when people go to vote, they're going to vote based on their values and what direction they want the country to go in. And it's more serious than the fun conversation we're having right now about Gordon Hayward.
Well, Tanner, good luck to you, and I sincerely wish good luck to the Utah Jazz as well. We've been talking about the NBA versus the NFL and which has better free agency. And the thing I don't like about NBA free agency is that if Gordon Hayward does leave, you know, where does that leave these teams that these guys leave to go to these super teams? That's what we've been talking about. So I hope he stays. We'll see what happens. I know you're giving it your best shot. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on. Have a good day.
Absolutely.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.